First and foremost, so we're gonna say all praises be to
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kadash.
double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone, and shalom to the sincere elect, teaching the truth of faith and sincerity through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Basically, a quick topic that we're gonna speak on is the downfall of the kingdom of Esau, man. Like, as you can see how everything's been unfolding with this whole thing of Brexit, which is prophecy in Daniel, you know, Trump being Trump, you know, just a whole state of degeneracy in Esau's kingdom is just signs that he's going, you know, like the everyone out here is fat, people are depressed, the degeneracy is just like an all-time high level. Just everything about his kingdom is through. And it's fantastic to watch it unfold. Lord willing, right? Because it signs that Esau's the end. And the first scripture I get is 2nd Ezra, you know, 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and 9.
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it.
Start from 7.
It's verse 7.
And then get the feet in Daniel. Yeah, go ahead. Where the big rock came this morning.
This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth?
And when it says again in the first, what's that talking about? Scripture says the first shall be last and the last shall be first. So the actual kingdom that is first in this kingdom now is the kingdom of Esau, right? Right? Go ahead.
And it says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Yeah, man. So when you go back all the way back to that account, that whole circumstance, you understand that, hey, man, that that event, it happened as a sign for what was about to happen upon the earth, which is that the children of Israel were going to rule. You want to say something?
No, that's the point.
It was symbolic of Jacob taking down Esau.
Yeah. For example, in the films you have a guy, you have two guys trying to fight over a gun that slipped out, and then the other guy's gonna get it. Then the guy pulls his leg, and he overtakes him and finally he gets what he gets. Yeah. Like in terms of us, basically, you know, because it was a struggle. Remember the scripture said the children they struggled together in the room, man. And the end state of the struggle was him still holding his leg, pulling down to go on top. You know,
which just goes to show you everything that the Most High does for a reason, right?
That's
everything
right.
written in the scriptures is written for a reason.
That's right.
He says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow.
Now the scripture says the earth abideth eternally, you know. So when it speaks about Esau being the end of the world, you know how you got these Edomites saying, one day they're going to be a spontaneous combustion of our soul, and the world is going to explode, and the earth's core, and like, shut your ass up. You're chatting shit.
You don't know the scriptures.
You don't know shit. You know, really, what's that simply saying is that, look, man, what's going to happen is that your age is going to come down, and it's coming down. Can you brothers want to speak on that point? You brothers always talk about the Four Horsemen, the documentary.
Oh yeah, the Four Horsemen. You got the 7 stages of an empire. Right, Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. I forgot it's the Four Horsemen on YouTube. It's a longish documentary. But it basically goes. First section goes into 7 stages of an empire. Right, the first being your explorers. They go do this and they go do that. But then the last age is the age of decadence. When you actually look at the word decadent, it means to decay. It means it's about decay. Right, and that's what you're seeing in this kingdom is decay, because there's an I forget the word, overindulgence in sex. Right, you watch a TV show, all you go and hear about is sex. You watch a music awards, all you go and see is sex.
Everywhere is sex, bro.
Sex. Sportsmen are paid too high, and chefs are paid too high, and stuff like that. Just when those are proofs that these are the last days.
Yeah. Because you know what? Because people weren't just indulged, self-indulgent. You know, and basically, what you indulge yourself in can be either right or wrong. Like for example, like if you have a kingdom that's built on righteousness, you're just in the word. You're always just spiritual. But if you have a kingdom that's wickedness, you indulge in wickedness. Yeah. And that's what we saw with Sodom and Gomorrah. Like people were just that end stage of that wicked kingdom was what? Sex was that unlawful sex, especially over indulgent in false idols and other things as such, which ultimately ended up in the destruction. The scripture says spiritual Sodom and Egypt. That same kind of pattern of lifestyle is here today, man. Yep. You know, like, bro, this kingdom's fucked. Every aspect of this, the food is shit, the people is shit, the TV shit, everything's shit.
Quick precept.
Go ahead, bro.
This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, abound. Go ahead. The love of many shall wax cold.
Yeah, and again, you've seen that before. When you go back to Sodom and Gomorrah, but bro, iniquity abounds, and their actual love wax cold because Lot told him, "Look, bro, chill, leave me alone, man, bro. Hey, have my daughters have it, and fuck that. Yeah, give me your ass, nigga. You know."
I can say something the elder brother Carr said. He was like, "Yo, man, if a guy gonna fuck another guy in the ass, there ain't no limits to what that guy gonna do."
Oh no, that's facts. That's facts. Cause you know that Scottish Jake in the history, Eustace Mullins, and the other guy, I forgot his name, but basically one part of information that, because you know what they did, they observed the whole history of wickedness, starting off with the Canaanites up until now. And basically one point they were speaking about is that the reason why the elites push this whole homosexual agenda so much is because if you are homosexual, if you accept that, you are open to new forms of ideologies. That's why with the LGBT, it started off as what? The LGBT. Now you got the fucking LGBTQ plus, right? And then now as well, people who are not even gay, so to speak, are accepting of people who are gay.
Yeah.
And
doing some undercover shit as well.
Yeah, and like we're like accept things like atheism, women's rights. That's why Scripture speaks about the wine of the wrath of the fall.
That's right.
You're going to get that quickly. Revelation 17:5. Okay. You know. Okay. No, but if you got one, you can do that a quick one.
Yeah. This is First Maccabees chapter 1 verse 10. 9. And after his death, which is talking about Alexander, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. Pretty much when the wicked were bearing rule in that time, that's when evils were multiplying on the earth. Because, well, we were talking about homosexuality. Well, Alexander the Crete man, he was a homosexual. Okay, so all of that vibe that Edomites and the elites are pushing, that they've been pushing it every time they're in power. That's like a part of their MO. You know, pushing that homosexuality, man.
Because you're a freak, man.
And wickedness was multiplying on the earth. And it's the same thing that's happening this day. You know?
Go ahead.
I got the one you asked for, and I got one after.
Yeah.
This is Revelation 18:3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication.
Yeah, and guess what? What is the what actual wine can make you go and fornicate or fornicate? Now, of course, we know fornication is adultery. If you get too drunk, you might lose your mind and bearing to go and do something that you shouldn't do in terms of adultery. But in terms of that, like, what actual, like, apple wine or the ginger beer going, whoa, I don't know. No, it's talking about a philosophy. Because a person who's spiritually drunk is susceptible to doing things that are wicked. Because they're spiritually drunk, man. Right? Go ahead.
It says Isaiah 29:9 says, "Stay yourselves and wonder, cry ye out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They stagger, but not with strong drink."
So if you're saying they stagger, but not with strong drink, what's that talking about? The mind state, the philosophies, man. Right? And there's countless ways and philosophies that fucking Esau has pushed on the earth. That it's basically there's countless fucking aspects, man. You know, for example, with a hole, man. If you go and dig a hole, you're only gonna keep, if you keep doing it, it's still gonna increase in size and bigger, and that's how this kingdom is, man. First of all, before it starts off with the women's rights.
Yeah.
Then it went into the LGBT. Then as soon as it's right now it's really pedophilia.
Yeah, that's the next one. That's the next one. I've been you know that. Hey, don't be you know shocked and surprised when that you know that starts being pushed out into the forefront, right? Because right now you're hearing certain things. You know you might hey, before something comes, you might, hey, someone coming. But then their footsteps get louder and you go, oh shit, there they are.
Yeah.
But those who are expecting these things, which is we're expecting these things. Right, we're just waiting for it to just come out straight, and then it get added onto the LGBTQP, right?
Yeah, and it's like even I was watching an old documentary on Nambla from like in the late 90s, and basically they had the LGBT march going on. And basically, at the march, they was asking people who were gay their opinions of pedophilia, being a sexual orientation.
Yeah.
And brother, a lot of the people there were like, yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, if a kid's 8 and likes an older man, I think you should be allowed to do that. And one guy said, yeah, because I got touched by men, you know when I was a kid, and I've turned out okay.
Right.
And I'm like,
wow.
You sure about that?
Well, look at the can of worms they've opened. They've said a 3-year-old, you know, can what do you call it? Can decide that it wants to be a girl. Why then can't it decide that it wants to? Obviously not pushing this, but as in terms of their weird wine and philosophies, they can easily then say, well, why can't a child then say, he wants to deal with someone else? He's obviously capable of making those decisions.
Yeah, and because you know why? Because the actual point of them trying to change, you know, who they're attracted to is down to their preference. So as soon as you can actually link a preference to a orientation, then bruv, that's how you know pedophilia is gonna be mainstream. Because what Esau always tries to do is like extract an ideology from a person's like a kind of mind state. They'll be like, well, you know, if that's what he feels right in himself to do, you know, then I don't see why he can be judged on that, you know, which is wickedness, man. Because according to scriptures, we don't get the Most High don't care what you think's right. You know, the Most High don't care what you think's right.
I set boundaries. Man.
The boundaries are there,
set
man.
Rules, yeah.
You know, for example, you know, kid might fucking come across his parents doing something off, and he's like, well, I see them do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, but I got this. It's Sirach 10. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited.
Speaking of.
Right, so right now you got Esau in power, right, and Esau is the example. Scriptures in was it Sirach 13, 25, 23, 25, basically says, when a rich man speak, when Esau's that rich man at the moment, right? Everyone here has to hear what he wants to say. Like, for instance, I was watching a documentary on Brian Cox. He's the the go-to science guy at the moment. When he's talking about 4.5 billion years ago, people just automatically believe that, right? And he, the way he talks, people are gonna believe it. And just like how this man Esau is in power at the moment, right? He's talking. Esau basically pushes there is no God, right? He's pushing that to the people, so the people believe, well, there is no God. And when he is pushing that there is a God through his, Christian church, they're pushing this idea of a God that's just like, it's some flimsy God that's like, hey, do whatever you want, right? So what do the people do? They don't fear the Most High, right? And then during all of this, he's then pushing some weird and wacky philosophies, so that people just go, well, I can be a homosexual, because, well, God will forgive me, because that's what Esau's pushed on one hand, right?
I was just going to say as well, because we were talking about the wine, that's pushed out by Babylon, which is America. And, they've got like Hollywood, for example, they've got the porn industry, they've got certain things that are, you're going to say something? They're spread all around the world. People got access to the internet.
It's funny that you say spread, because wine is a fluid substance, and it can adapt. Like wine can be poured into a cup, poured into a bottle. It could be, it's just transitory, so to speak. And that's how he's a philosophy is, man. In every fucking avenue of his wickedness, he can just incorporate his wine in there.
He knows how to put wine in your exact situation.
Yeah, man. It's a funeral. Hey, you want some wine? It's a party. Hey, man, you want some wine? It's a birthday party. Hey, man, you want? Where they went? So Esau's bringing the wine everywhere, man.
And then the proof of that is, like I said, I mentioned before, being from an African country or whatever, what have you, right? You see, they're quite conservative, but then Esau's wine is still, the women are still wearing trousers. Like, the women would still be trying to back up their man. And you see that in other parts of the world where, maybe they, it appears that they've got their women in check or whatever, what have you, but then they'll be doing some other weird shit that Esau's pushed on them from the West, right? Because he knows how to cater the wine to your needs. Really, he's a good barman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So it's, how do you like it? Don't like it too strong? Cool. I'm gonna give you this one. This one's gonna hit you slow. You said you're loud. It's gonna hit you slow. You just drink it slowly over a long period of time, right? And then after a while, you gonna be nice.
But you know what? The way that he does it is he spikes a drink.
That's it.
Because we're on the highways and byways, we're dropping that sweet wine. Which is the scriptures. What do they say?
To be honest, it's bitter, man.
Well, it's really bitter.
It's bitter, but it's good for you.
Because what did they say when was it Peter? They were teaching. He's meant a new wine and all that.
Yeah.
You can't put new wine into old bottles. I've got a precept.
Yeah.
This is Revelation chapter 14, verse 8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Right, which is what we've been going into. And this is the point. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. So there's different types of wines.
Yeah, there's different types of wine.
So there's also the Most High's wrath.
Yeah.
Which is what we're teaching, man, knowing the terror of the Lord. It says, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Now, I brought that out because, what did it say? It said, first it mentioned Babylon, and it said that it made the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of fornication. And then it said what? It said, if any man worship the beast in his image. And what's the image? The image is the philosophies of the so-called white man of his system. And what is one hammer or one tool which I've already given it away. One tool that the so-called white man has in his repertoire to push his agendas and his image on the
Push.
to push his agenda and his image on the world. Babylon, man, America, you know, and it's actually mentioned as a hammer of the earth, man, you know, and a hammer is a tool. It puts things into place. You knock it back down, you know. And what America does is it goes and installs an ideology into a place. And how does it do it? If the leader of that nation is going against it, what will it do? It will overthrow that nation's leader with a coup, put in a president or a ruler, a puppet ruler that is more inclined with his philosophies. Not only will they be raping and robbing and pillaging all your resources of your country, but at the same time they'll be destroying the people. And how do you destroy the people? You destroy the people by destroying the mind, you know.
Yep.
Which I think government goes to control the mind, you know. So you put that, and that's why it's so important. Sorry, I just want to say this. That's why it's so important, because it says in if I can just quickly get this Salakia, because while I'm still on this in Isaiah 2, in Isaiah 2 it says so it talks about, in Isaiah 2 it talks about the law and basically how it's going to be going out from Israel, man, and that's what's going to be prevalent on the earth. Okay, but right now what's being prevalent is Esau's things. But when we're ruling in righteousness, that's going to be that is going to be the new wine, but that's going to be that righteous wine, man. Okay, it's going to be the righteousness of the Lord. It's going to be the laws, okay, and living righteously, you know, and everyone's going to be on that. Everyone's going to be on that. So right now, what Esau's doing is he's pushing it out with America, but we're going to be pushing it out when we got the rulership, man. You know, so that's because the beginning scripture we brought out was we were going into Esau being the end of the world. Hey, man, there's only so far wickedness can go, man. You know, what does it say? It says wages of sin is death, and this guy he's the man of sin, man. You know.
What did you just read?
I just read I mentioned Isaiah 2.
Okay, cool. So let me grab the rest. So I saw it was on Revelation 18.
Sorry, before you get that, sorry.
I know
I'm talking for a while.
So
I know I'm talking for a while, Salakia, but the reason I brought that scripture out in Revelation is because that's why the mark of the beast is so important. These philosophies that people are into, this image of the beast, if you're into the image of the beast, then you are going to take the mark.
Yeah.
You're going to worship the beast. You're going to go down with it. If you are down with homosexuality, okay, if you're not making a stand against homosexuality,
things into you,
then what do you have against putting an implant in you?
It's funny because I was thinking of doing a video about this topic just week. And I'm gonna go back and research on it more. There's a term called gradualism. It's how, like, for example, a frog, you know, in a boiling water. Like if you put a frog in just already boiling water, it will jump out. When you turn up the heat here, you might leave it for 5 minutes. The frog likes it. He's flying, man, shit, Caribbean or something, you know. You turn up a little bit, he's like, it's hot, but I can kind of deal with this. By the time you turn it all the way up, he's dead already, man. You know, and that's basically how the kingdom is, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, give them their rights. I mean, they're human just like you. You know, and you know, they're human just like you. And basically, the actual way that Esau like stamps his authority is by convincing you, man. That's what happened with Eve, man. I mean, I don't think we surely die.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, you know what? That makes sense. Yeah. That's how Esau is. The weaker vessel, man.
Sure. I've got more on Revelation.
Go on.
Revelation 18:3 says, "For all nations have drunk." It says all nations. So ain't no what do you call it? No nation. You might meet someone from the east, right? And then you think, oh, they're from the east. Nah, they're still full of shit, man.
All nations, yep.
Right? They could be wearing a kimono or a hijab. They're still full of shit because Esau's witchcraft has reached all the way over there.
Yeah.
Right. So for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Right, and this chapter is proof of who Babylon the Great is. Right, America. which talks about the multitude of ships, like how people sell and what's the biggest consumer, man?
Yeah, they import more than the EU.
Yeah.
And the EU has what, 28, 29 countries?
Yeah. I forgot what the population of the EU
Yeah,
is.
but if you compare the population of the EU to America, it's slightly like there's a couple million.
I think it's like 100 million difference.
Yeah,
it's not that big.
It's not that big. There's just slightly more in the EU than America. And America still imports more.
Yeah.
That's why Scripture says they're bonus of her over the delicacies.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about it, like, and that's how you know it's America. Because if you look at America, it's known for abundance. Like, grand food, like.
Oh man,
you know that show. What's that show? The food show?
Man versus Food
Man versus
and all
Food.
of that shit.
How comes it's not some guy from Ghana? Who's the main host?
Yeah, it's crazy. We should call it a geezer just came back from work from LA, and he had this basically this Coke. You get the reusable like water drinking things.
Yeah.
This guy, he said it was like a regular or a medium, and it's a fucking liter.
Wow.
A fucking liter for a regular. Here, a large isn't gonna be even. Do larges even get to a liter here?
It's about just half a liter.
So it's like America. That's
Probably 95 mil.
It's
Yeah, America's fucked. Like for example, one thing that's also known in America is big cars, big roads, like 12-lane roads and shit. See, everything about them is abundant, man. That's how you know what's talking about them in Babylon, no? You got one?
Yeah.
I'll show there was still more. It goes on to say, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins."
And that's talking about when we get beamed up, man, in chariots, man. Because remember, this time period is going to be so heavy that we're going to be needed to be physically extracted from the earth. That's how heavy the time that's coming is going to be, bro. That we're going to be needed to be physically extracted from the earth, man.
Yeah.
Good.
If I can say, I just found out the information. So a McDonald's large here in the UK is 500 milliliters.
That's half.
And this guy, he brought back, he said a regular, I forget whether it was a regular or medium, but it was a fucking liter.
Well, so there's regular and medium.
Yes, it was regular, medium and large.
Wow.
So I think regular is their new name for small, isn't it? But our small is 250 mil, medium 400, large 500. So to have a liter, that's not even your largest size. That is obscene.
Yeah, have you seen that video on YouTube? That Jake, big fat nigga, drinking like a slushy, bruv, and he's just stuck in the stool. He's drinking he got a big cup of ice. Whatever the fuck that was, bro. Yeah.
Verse 5 says, "For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities."
Yeah. And that's what's gonna happen, man. But it's good seeing your kingdom fall, man.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
It's lovely, man.
It's beautiful.
It's a fantastic
show. It's a rare sight of joy. It's wicked.
Because we in this truth have hope in the Lord. Like we don't have any hope in this world.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So, people thinking, what's the problem? How's Brexit gonna affect my job? Fuck my job, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm just hoping that the Lord has me okay in that day.
Yeah.
That's what how's Brexit gonna affect our jobs?
I've got one for you, Sulaki.
I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping in that day I'm good.
I've got the points in 14, but I'm going to start in 13. It says Isaiah 65:13. "Therefore thus saith the Lord power, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold,
And in telling that scripture there, bro, the servants of the Lord are going to eat up, they are going to drink, but that's not saying the pathway to that happening isn't going to be uncomfortable. So sometimes you might go a few days without food, or you might lose your job. Well, you will lose your job. You may go a few days without showering, but in comparison to people who are getting fucking burnt up, the imprinting of their shadows in terms of people going to be literally swimming in fire. I'm sure going a couple of hours without food or going a week on 4 meals is going to be okay. You know what I mean, bro? Like, you got to be appreciative than what could be.
Yeah.
On the other side.
Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit.
And the scripture says to howl. You know what it is to howl? That's that gut wrenching
Blood curdling scream.
Howl! You know that like that, just that lamenting, bro. You know, like you just lost, you know, like a father finds out he lost his firstborn son. That's how you know it's going. People gonna be that day, but that day, all you people gonna be in pain, man.
Yeah.
Especially the 2/3 of our people, man. Right? Those are our people who are the wicked. Yeah, more than that.
Yeah, that was
Kind. This is Proverbs chapter 12, verse 3. This is 3. A man shall not be established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous shall not be moved. So Esau's kingdom it's not gonna be established, man, because he's the wicked man, you know, and that's just gonna end in destruction, pretty much, man. That the brother was going into the 7-8 cycles of the empire, and I was kind of looking into it, and I wanted to read a little bit of it because it's actually hard, right? But pretty much, man, there's no way that this kingdom's gonna continue. The only kingdom that the scriptures references being established forever is the kingdom of Israel in the kingdom of heaven, man.
yeah, pretty simple. This is Daniel 7:18, but this.
Get a bit on the feet as well.
Okay, do you want that first?
2, and then read that, and we're going to close up.
This is Daniel 2. This is Daniel's 2 and 33, just straight to the point. 32, mid from the head. It's literally one verse up.
Yeah.
It says Daniel's 2:32 that this image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, and his belly and his thigh of brass.
Yeah, and basically, if you know anything, that's talking about what the Babylonians, the Greeks, the Persians and Greeks and Medo Persians, so on and so forth. You know, if you know the breakdown, go ahead.
Yeah, it says his legs of iron and his feet of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces.
Yeah, because basically his feet is the empires in which we're actually in now, man. You know, NATO, like in the EU, man. But the scriptures say, well, what? Go ahead.
Yeah, it says, thou sawest that till a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and of clay, and break them to pieces.
Which means what? It means it's saying the image fell when it was hit at the feet. Which means what? Which means in this last empire, this is the empire in which that the Lord is gonna come. That means he's gonna come in our time. He's gonna come in our time because he smote it upon the feet. You know, the Heavenly Father could just smote it at the head. I mean, he can smote it anywhere. But why is he gonna do it specifically at the feet? You know?
Yeah.
Because even in warfare, in UFC, whatever, when you sweep someone, he's gone down, man. Topple over.
Yeah. And the thing is that statue represents all the different kingdoms of the major heathen nations, you know, and all the great empires of them.
And it says Esau's the end of the world, man. So that's why he's at the feet, you know. He's the last one.
Yeah, that's right. This is Daniel 7:18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Yeah, because even after the point in Daniel says the saints are gonna rule eternally, man. Which you really might say gonna rule. Man, your kingdom's through, bro. How you got Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, you got Trump as president.
Yeah.
2 twin retarded fucking sons of Esau, bro. you have a precept up?
No.
What, have you got a point there?
No, I said the article, innit?
Yeah, you can read it if you want.
Okay, I'll just put.
Read a point. Just thinking about.
Okay, I've actually kind of lost it, but basically what it was saying in this article about the 7 stages, one of the last stages was the age of decline and collapse, which is what we're in that now, decadence you were talking about, and the last stage, the decline and collapse. And it was saying that it's because the early values of an empire is like self-discipline, self-sacrifice, the good of the people, and all that kind of stuff, those values, the morality, but that declines over time, and instead they put things like, wealth, and just making it, doing it and all that. And that's what the spirit of this world is in now, man.
Yep.
That last hurrah, that last like rave in a sense.
Yep. And that's gonna happen. Right? So yeah, man, with that we're gonna say praises be to Yahweh,
Hashem,
Double on the sponsors and others a great milestone. With that, we'll say Shalom.